I'll give you a little bit of overview of my background, and then we can go over the itinerary for the trip real quick. And then if you have any questions after that, I'm more than happy to answer them. So I teach our Intro to Entrepreneurship class here at DePaul. I teach that every quarter. And I've got a mixture of business and non-business students in the class. And um, I'm an MBA from DePaul, but I also run our Coleman Entrepreneurship Center here on the seventh floor. So I teach and run the center. I had a business for about 30 years that installed computer systems for large retailers like Walgreens and Walmart. So I'm not an academic by training. I'm an entrepreneur. So I guess it kind of helps being an entrepreneur to teach entrepreneurship. So I've been here about 7 years now, and I've taken study abroad students over to London. We just finished our fourth year. We'll be running that program again in the winter, right after Thanksgiving. I used to live over in London. But we also wanted to open up programs to South America, and I'm really excited about this program. It'll be the first time I've run it. We're actually partnering with a company that does U.S. study abroad programs called Austral, and they're actually based in Santiago, Chile. So they have quite a few people there, and they'll actually be leading our programs both in Santiago and also in Buenos Aires. So I'm really excited. They've got great reviews. They've got phenomenal hotels lined up for us, events, food. We'll have guides with us for any language issues that we might have, and also to point out the good areas to go in both of those cities while we're there. So I'm really excited to work through them for this program. Um, we are The focus of the program is about entrepreneurship. The concept being going down to Argentina and Chile to see how businesses are different than they are in the U.S. I think we take a lot for granted here, or we assume the way that things are in the U.S. are the way they are in other parts of the world, which is not the case. So that's why study abroad is such a great opportunity for our students to go see how business is conducted in other countries. Um, South America in particular, I think may even be a little bit ahead of the US when it comes to issues around eco-sustainability. So we'd asked them to put a program together to visit some startup companies and some organizations that have a little bit of an eco-friendly or eco-sustainability theme in their business. And we'll be working on some projects while we're in country, but then the focus is you then come back from the trip and I put you in teams and you kind of develop kind of a business idea that you picked up down there that may or may not exist in the US, and just do a quick presentation on that when you get back. We'll have 3 classes on Fridays before we leave for the trip during spring quarter. I can give you those dates if you need them. And then we'll have a class when we get back in probably around the 28th, 27th, 28th of June, a couple days after we get back, to just kind of reflect on the overall trip. We'll be departing on June 16th in the evening. Well, in the afternoon, actually. We'll go through Miami, fly overnight, and arrive on June 17th in Santiago. And then we will be coming back the late evening on the 25th, again, flying all night through Miami and get back to Chicago on the 26th. So, Kate, should I share my screen and kind of walk through the agenda, you think, for the trip?
Yes, that sounds great. Let me see. Try it and then see if you don't have permission, I can change it. There you go.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Um, so this is the agenda that Australs worked with us to put together. This is the in-country part of the trip. Again, as I mentioned, we'll be arriving on the 17th. You'll have kind of a quick tour of the city that they'll be providing just to give you the overview. I mean, we'll let you rest for a little bit when you get there, but usually on those overnight flights, the best thing to do is to try to stay up, and because you probably won't get much sleep. But if you go and take a long nap, then you'll be up all night. They're only a couple hours ahead of us, so it's not like going to Europe or Asia where you've got a significant time zone difference. So hopefully that'll be working to our favor. So the let me see here. So the 17th will basically give you a quick overview of the city, so you kind of know where to go, where not to go, and then a welcoming dinner. We'll have some business meetings, kind of giving you start with the broad perspective on the overall economic situation and business climate in Chile, and then talking about startup scene and ecosystem there around entrepreneurship. And then we'll have one of the startup entrepreneurs sharing one of the problems that they're having in their business, and they'll be able to outline that and then kind of have you all playing consultants to come up with some solutions to their problems, kind of a brainstorming exercise. Then on the 19th, we'll start to talk a little more about the environmental regulations and how they're focused on renewable energy and things like that. We'll have a couple of optional cultural activities. This will probably change between now and when we get down there, because actually when we meet for our first 3 classes, they'll give us a list of things that you'd like to do. And when I give them that feedback, they'll kind of tweak some of the free time so that it lines up around what each of you would like to do as a group. So we kind of built a little flexibility into the schedule. Then on the 20th of June, I'll have you in teams. We'll put you in teams before we leave. You'll work on a couple projects before we go down there, and then you get to know each other, and then working together in country on some of these projects that are presented by the companies that we visit with. And the nice thing, I'll tell you, one of the number one things about study abroad, students come back and they say that besides the sights and sounds and food and everything, the thing they like the most is meeting new friends. So the team project is really a great way for you to get to know each other. Most of my study abroads, only 1 or 2 students maybe know each other, but you come back and you've got lasting friendships. So these team projects really serve a couple purposes. One, you to get to know each other in a smaller group setting, and also to work together collaboratively on these projects. The afternoon of the 20th, we'll have a little tour and wine tasting at the Kingston Vineyard. Chile and Argentina, for that matter, are both known for their wine. I know everybody thinks it's Italy and France, but I'll tell you what, South America has given Europe a run for their money. So I really look forward to those opportunities of showing you that. Then on Friday, we'll be heading from Santiago to Buenos Aires. It's a couple-hour flight. Be completely different experience. Buenos Aires has been kind of known as the most European city in South America. So it'd be a very completely different. I understand too the economy that we can for $30 you can get a absolute phenomenal meal. So there's quite a currency difference between Chile and Argentina, and we'll talk about the conversion rate when we get closer to the time we leave, because the dollar has stayed extremely strong down there. So one of my colleagues, Matt Regas, just got back. He's a professor in the College of Communications. He just got back from Buenos Aires and said he lived like a king down there with the
Oh
exchange.
my gosh. It's so true. I was just there in December, and
Oh yeah, I forgot. I
we
have an expert on the
we took an
right.
Uber for an hour and a half to a different, part of the Buenos Aires region, and I think it was $18.
Yeah.
It was madness. It was so cheap.
Well, I look forward to that. Even though London is cheaper now than it was when I lived in London, it's still really, really expensive compared to what we're going to experience in Argentina. So when we get there, we're going to shift gears a little bit. And entrepreneurship is not only just starting for-profit companies, but starting a nonprofit organization also requires entrepreneurial skill set. So whether it's social entrepreneurship, social impact ideas, um, a lot, we want to focus a little bit on that. So they're going to line us up with a couple of nonprofits that we will be visiting and talking about the causes that they're working on in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Um, on Sunday, the 23rd, I believe is a national holiday in Buenos Aires. So we're going to be filling in a full day of optional cultural activities. Again, we will have a list from Austral on these, and probably our first class will kind of vote on what we would like to do. And then we can determine whether we do just one thing as in a group or we split up and do a couple different things. So again, I really like the fact they're giving us a little flexibility in the schedule because it allows us to tailor some of this to what you all would like once we come together as a class. So we'll be filling in that day. Then on the 24th, we'll be kind of getting an overview of the political and economic scene in Argentina, much like we did on our first days of our visit to Santiago. Talk a little bit about their export industry, and then a couple of their growth industries around AI, big data, and consulting and blockchain. So that's a whole mouthful there, but we'll be hitting a couple different businesses in those areas to give you guys some ideas on what they're doing down there and what might be applicable back here in the U.S. And then that evening, we'll have our final kind of farewell dinner and I guess a tango show. So that'll be entertaining, I'm sure. Um, and then Tuesday, we'll wrap up with some business meetings around some additional industry segments, food and beverage, agriculture, farming, and then, of course, sustainability, which is kind of the underlying theme of this trip. That evening, we'll head to the airport. I think it's like a 10 o'clock flight, so you're flying all night. We'll clear customs in Miami and then make the connection to get back the next afternoon to Chicago on the 26th of June. So,
Wonderful. Thank you.
so I'm going to stop share and bring us all back on screen to see if
All
anybody
right.
has any questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll jump into the logistics of how the application and admissions process works in a moment. But first, I want to leave the floor open for if anyone has questions about the program itself and what you'll be doing.
Would you have the dates for the Friday classes in the spring quarter?
The dates for the program?
Yeah, hang on just a second. That's a great question. So we meet on Fridays. Typically, most of the study abroad programs meet on Fridays because hopefully most of you don't have classes on Friday. You know what? Let me just double check because I think I might have changed these dates. So I don't want to give you the wrong ones. Okay. Yeah, our first class will be May 17th, and it's from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. And we provide you a nice breakfast. The classes will be held in the Coleman Center, which is on the 7th floor of the DePaul Center in the downtown campus. Most of you in the business school probably know where it is. So that'll be the first class will be 10 to 1 on May 17th. The second class will be May 24th, same time, 10 until 1. And then I've got a couple of conflicts, unfortunately, the next 2 weeks. Well, one weekend is, yeah. And so our last class will then be the 14th of June, which is a Friday, again, 10 until 1. It's the end of finals week. And then we'll be leaving that Sunday afternoon, 2 days later. So 2 classes, a couple week break, which includes kind of Memorial Day, and then a final meeting right before we leave.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, so you'll notice that this class, it's 4 credits, it's registered in the spring quarter, but it meets a lot less often during the actual spring quarter than most classes, since you're putting in so much of your time and your effort while you're there, while you're abroad. And so the way it works from a course standpoint is once we have the student group for this program finalized, I will register you manually for the course. You can't register yourself on Campus Connect. Don't even try, it's blocked. You might not even see the course in there. And so I'll get everyone registered, and then it'll just be a regular 4 credit class in your spring quarter. If you're an undergrad, there's no extra tuition fee unless you're going over that cap of 18 credits, just like always. If you're a grad student, of course, it's paid by the credit hour. So it's just a regular 4 credit class. The class is IB 350, or if you're a grad student, IB 750. And then, yep, so the way it works is after finals are over, you know, you're getting most of your grades coming in because you finished, but you haven't traveled yet, you haven't done your final project. And so you would get just a temporary grade for this class of an R. And then once everything's completed, after the program is over, then Bruce will go in and update the grades to your actual letter grade. It is possible to do this even if you're a graduating senior. We have students do it their final term all the time, so not a big deal. Just talk to us if that's the case. But yeah, that's how it works. So from an admin standpoint, as long as you apply by the program deadline of February 1st, you'll be automatically considered for scholarships. So please make sure you get that in. We would love to consider you for scholarships. My office has about $750,000 for the year on scholarships to give students to help offset that program fee. So like I mentioned, the tuition, it's a 4 credit class. On top of that, there's a program fee, and that fee is really just, we calculate the cost to DePaul for your travel. So it includes your flights, your hotel, any meals that are part of the program, any activities while you're there, that type of thing. That's the program fee, and we attach that to your account. And our scholarships are there to help offset that. So the way it works is once the application closes, then Bruce will be reviewing his student applications. We'll be preparing the scholarship allocations from our whole pool of February 1st application deadline students on our end. Once Bruce is ready with his list of students to admit, we'll contact you, and we'll also within a day or two tell you if you got a scholarship from us, and if so, how much. So you would definitely have that information before you're asked to commit to anything. So there's no risk to applying, there's no cost to apply, you're not on the hook for anything. Even if you get in, you still then would have 2 weeks to go in and make your decision to say, yes, I definitely want to commit to this. And so only after that do we count you as like a for sure you're doing this. So no risk. So if you're interested, please, finish your application, submit it. That way we can make sure you're considered for scholarships, and you never know.
Yeah, one last date. I should have added this on too.
Oh,
The
yeah.
final presentations, and we'll have a closing lunch, will be the June 28th. So the Friday, 2 days after we get back. We'll have a final kind of closing memories and a nice lunch, and you'll do just a quick presentation of your business thoughts from the visits. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Right. Any other questions either about the program or about the admin side of things, how it works at DePaul? Right, well, thank you. You know where to find either of us if you have any questions. We look forward to seeing your applications, and yeah, tell your friends. It's a really cool opportunity. I will say the students who have done Bruce's England programs over the last few years have just come back absolutely raving about it. And it sounds like this one is set to be just as fantastic. And having just been to Argentina, I will tell you, it is a fantastic place to be. So
yeah, we're really excited about it. One other caveat, it is winter down there, so we're going from summer to winter, but winter down there is 50s and 60s. It's not winter in Chicago. And when you're in a big city, to be honest with you, if it's 95 degrees and you're walking around, it's kind of miserable. I did London the first year in the summer, and I won't ever do that again. We go at Christmas time.
I will say
some people like it. I just don't happen to be a crowded, hot kind of summer big city guy. So it'll be a really nice, comfortable, temperature down there when we go. So get a little break from the Chicago heat in case it's hard to believe right now that it could hit
Right.
90s here by June, but in all likelihood, it'd be a nice little escape from,
Right. Well, thank you, everyone. I have this recorded. I'll email it out to all the students who have started applications, so you'll have a copy of it. And like we said, feel free to reach out to us at any time with any other questions you have.
Yeah, and more than happy to stop by the Coleman Center too if I'm here to meet you personally. We're on the 7th floor of the DePaul Center between the management and marketing department. I'm usually here all week, and I teach on Monday and Wednesday afternoons, so until about 1:30, and I'm almost always here those afternoons after class. So I'd be more than happy to meet with you further if you need more information or would like to meet me.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Chris.